in the army, in the military there. And he asked him to come and heal his daughter. And Jesus said, I will go right away. And the centurion said, no, I'm not even worthy for you to come under my roof, not through the door of my house. But I'm a man of authority. When I say, soldier, do this, he does it. When I say, soldier, go there, he goes. And all you have to do is speak the word, and my daughter will be healed. And that's exactly what happened. He spoke the word, and Jesus said, I have never seen faith like this. But this centurion that was there, this soldier had to have witnessed hundreds of deaths, because that was the mode of the Roman Empire. You did the crime, this was your punishment, okay? Thieves and murderers, and they did that to me, that would be quite a deterrent to crime, because they would hang these people up along the roadway to the entrance of the city, and crucifixion would usually take hours to die. So all along the way into the city, you just see crucified thief or murderer or whatever, right after another. This man had witnessed hundreds of deaths. And he even mocked Jesus. If you're the Christ, come down off of there. Jesus had one nice piece of clothing, and they didn't want to just tear it into shreds and divide it up between the other shoulders. So they gambled. They threw dice, or I don't know what they used, but they gambled for his clothing. So again, put yourself in the eyes of that man. Here's another rabble-rouser. I'm doing my duty for Rome. I'm crucifying this man, getting rid of, a criminal, gambling over his clothes, mocking him, just doing everything that Roman soldiers were supposed to do with their prisoners. Make the last moments of their life as miserable as it possibly could be. And then he's the one who sees Jesus speak to the other two thieves on the cross. And he hears that conversation between them, one mocking and saying, hey, if you're really the Messiah, get us all down off of these crosses. And the other one saying, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. He witnessed the two thieves on the cross. He witnessed the last 7 words of Christ. But he also witnessed the earthquake the moment he died, and when the sun darkened. And in Matthew 27, we see this centurion who looked at Christ through a different lens than when he first met him. He said, when the centurion and those with him were guarding Jesus, they saw the earthquake and they saw all that had happened. They were terrified, and they exclaimed, surely he was the Son of God. His perspective of Jesus changed. Now for a moment, let's switch lenses again. Let's try to put ourselves on the cross and look through the eyes of Christ. What did he see? Here he is in this abject agony, of being crucified on the cross. And yet he has time to look over to a thief and tell him, today you will be with me in paradise. He has time to look down at his mom and say, woman, behold your son. But he also had the sense to look at the disciple that he loved, John, and say, John, behold your mother. And that meant from now on, take her as your mom, as your mother, care for her. And that's what John did. But when we even look at could you do that? Could you look down upon the Roman soldier who just nailed you to the cross and say, Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing? One of the things that Jesus looked at whenever he looked out amongst the crowd, whenever he looked out upon Mary and Martha, who just lost their brother Lazarus, when he looked upon the blind man, when he looked on the lame man, he just looked at them with such love and such compassion, because that's what drove him. And he said, even in the garden, before he knew all this was coming, and he said, Father, if there's any way possible, any way whatsoever, let this cup pass from me. But nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. You know, one of the things that Jesus was always looking for was the lost. He sought out blind Bartimaeus. Blind Bartimaeus sought him out, and he healed him. He sought out Zacchaeus. We talked about that last week too. This guy just climbs up in a sycamore tree and says, you know what, I'm going to your house today. And he said, salvation has come. Everywhere Jesus went, he was always looking for the lost, and he was looking for the prodigal. You know, one of the things here at LifeSpring, we have just sensed that God is calling us to look at the world through the eyes of Christ, specifically for the lost and for the prodigals. We have a group of ladies who pray. We have a list of prodigals. How many of you have a son or daughter or some relative that at one time was walking with God and now they are not? Let me see your hands. Give me the names, and we will pray. But I wanted to also introduce something tonight that's going to be a reminder for us of who are we as a church, as LifeSpring Church. Who are we? What lens are we going to look out there into the world, and what lens are we going to look at, and what are we going to see? And Deb, could you come help me with this? Just grab the cord there. This is something that we're going to hang in our church to remind us about the prodigals. And it says, pray them home. Oops. And it's going to hang up right over there underneath that sconce, so that when we walk into this place, we will remember that Christ looked down from the cross and he looked for the lost. And we have got to do the same. There's one more person I want us to look through the lens of, and that's Mary, the mother of Jesus. Imagine at the foot of the cross, looking up to your son, going through that. Ladies, you have children, try to imagine that. What was going through her mind? What were her thoughts? Can we just take a moment to look at the cross through the eyes of Mary? I have one more song that I want to share with you it's just that journey. It is Mary's thought process, I think. Maybe what she was going through, what she was thinking. But at the end of this song, I want us to take communion. But I'm not going to lead you in communion, because communion is not about me and you. It's about you and him. And I want you to look at the cross through the lenses that we've shown you tonight. And then we're just going to sit quietly for a few moments. And you just peel the top layer off. There's the bread. You peel the next layer off, and there's the juice. But I want tonight to be a time when you share communion between you and a Christ who died on the cross for you. Let's listen to Mary's song. Tonight, I've asked you to kind of look through the lens of different people to see Christ. But what I want you to do now is look through your lens and see Christ. Because the same Christ that died on the cross for the centurion, the same Christ that died on the cross for John the beloved, the same Christ that died on the cross for Mary. He died on the cross for you. And that is the message I want you to get tonight. That you look to the cross and you find a personal Savior. If you haven't already, let's partake of communion. Steve, could you play that song one more time? And that'll just be our close. Would that be okay with you guys? Let's do that. Well, I want to thank you all for coming out to our Good Friday service. I hope it's one that you will remember. And I just ask for a little favor from you tonight. If you're part of LifeSpring Church, when you get home tonight, you will receive a text message that gives a link to that video. That please just share it, put it out there, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, because more people need to hear the message of that song. Bless you guys. Please, if you do not have a church home to come to, Sunday is Resurrection Sunday. It's going to be awesome. So please come back and join us for Easter. And again, thank you all for coming tonight. Bless you. I'm not crying, you're crying. Huh? It will be. It's resurrection.